We going?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so we've got the 2 duplicate impressions that we made, and here's the dentures that we're going to be duplicating. And so we've done the clamshell impression, and as you can see now I've trimmed everything so that when you close this up, all the edges come together flush, because that's real important once we load it with acrylic, that be able to close completely. If you want to go ahead and get that duct tape ready. I've also got the tray resin. This is what I'm using. It's really cheap. Sets up kind of slow though. Really important that you mix this up runny. So I'm going to go ahead and get a batch going. We'll probably do both of these at the same time. Oh, that's too thick.
I got to go all the way around it.
Still too thick. You want this about like honey. So that's about right. Mix it up real thorough. Alright, and then you gotta work quick, because once it starts getting to the gel phase, it's gonna be tough. So I poured into the tooth side of the mold. You don't want to go overboard, but you do want to fill it most of the way up. And the vibrator helps keep any bubbles out. Really, this is already getting thicker than I would like it to, ideally. Not too worried about excess, because watch what happens when we're going to close this up. The vibrator helps this. It's critical that you see that come all the way together. You want all these edges together. Before this sets up, I'm going to do my bottom too. Now, if you don't get any excess, you probably don't have enough in there. You'll mix enough up. So. Possible we may end up with some voids on this one. Don't usually do this as messy. So we do have some excess, so that's good. Now we should go around it. And this is an advantage that the Lang clamp or the Lang duplicator has over this method, because there's not a good clamping way to keep this closed good and tight. But duct tape works. Go around this way. Duct tape works really well. You could also use a wood clamp. I like this, and I'll show you why in just a second. Let's do another one, Mary. Okay. Now keep going with it. So this is probably going to take about 20 minutes to set up. One of the reasons I like the to not use a clamp is because if you don't have a pressure pot, which I don't, you can actually trick your mini star machine into being a pressure pot. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this up, open that, so I know that this fits in here. I'm going to turn it on. Now we're just going to trick the machine. Add about 5 seconds, let it heat. Now I'm going to lock that, run pressure. So now we've got 3 bar of pressure in this. It's going to work just like a pressure pot would. It's going to drive out all the porosity, and we'll let that set up. And even though it only says 20 seconds, it'll run as long as you let it until you hit the air button. Alright, so that's it. Okay, so I just went and got a Hardee's burger for lunch and back. We're going to turn the air off on Mini Star. I should be able to open this now. And this one has cured under pressure. I'll have to put the phone down real quick to take the tape off. Alright, so here we go. Open it up. As you can see, there's a few little blebs, which you're always going to have that just from the little pores in the alginate. But this is really a bubble-free duplicate. It's going to have a little flash around the edges here as well. I've lost my assistants, they're all to lunch, so I'm trying to video this by myself. There we go. I did get a little air trapped right there, but again, that's not a big deal. There's still plenty of teeth on here to register the maximum intercuspation. Same thing on the lower. So all we're going to do now is we're going to come in, remove any of those blebs on the internal. We're going to take down all these borders of flash, which most of it will just break off. And then, real important on the occlusal, you can see a couple little blebs there as well. You're going to get rid of those because otherwise that'll interfere with the bite. You want it to be just like what he's got over here. So we'll get those adjusted to where everything matches, and then we'll take them to the mouth. Okay, I went ahead and did the reline impression in his current denture. So as you can see there, we got a nicely relined one. And then I came back and I've trimmed the borders where he could bite down into it. And now I didn't show you the original denture, but he had a pretty severe class 3. In fact, those lower teeth were stuck out up beyond the anterior maxillary teeth by about 3 to 4 millimeters. And so kind of manipulating him into centric and then biting him into some wax, we've raised the vertical a little bit, and it helped to reestablish a little bit of a class 1 or maybe an end-to-end relationship. So this is going to go to the lab, and that first appointment we went ahead and did the duplicates, the impression, and the bite. And so our next visit is going to be for wax try-in. And now when the lab gets this, they're going to go ahead and pour each of these casts. That's going to be the master cast. And then before separating them from the model, they're going to mount them inside of the rims with this bite. And so that way everything is preserved, and when they finally break everything apart, that's the correct relationship and vertical dimension for the rims that we've established. So we'll update later.